Welcome back to the channel. Wanted to do a quick update on the 1971 Mustang. I really don't even remember the last time that I did an update and what I really said, but this thing's been sitting around a while, and unfortunately it means it's not getting done, and I need to get back to it. So what I wanted to do real quick is just kind of do a rundown, on, because I've actually had some time to really inspect this thing over since it's been to the body and paint shop, and I got a few things to say. So I'm going to bring those things up right now, go over that, and this will kind of document my my story, so to speak, but also kind of give you, because it has been a while, we'll give you kind of a new reestablished base of where we're going to be starting from and what we're going to be doing next. Okay, so I got this sucker to the paint and body shop, and I got it back, I don't know, it was probably, let's see, it would have been this spring actually. And I have not been able to work on it because I have been working on my other vehicles. I've got a bathroom being remodeled. I got a deck that needs to be done. I got a lot of work at work. I mean, I've just had a lot of things going on, and I have not been able to actually get this thing going the way I wanted. So it's just kind of been sitting in the garage here and allowing the paint to cure really good. I was going to let it cure 30 days like they always say, and then go ahead and get right back into it. But that didn't really quite happen. Just because, again, life got busy. And that's just, how the cookie crumbles, I guess. That's how the story goes. So now, I've actually been kind of looking at it here over the course of all that time, just briefly on and off. I pull it out of my garage every once in a while because all the dirt and stuff blows up underneath it. So I push it out and use the leaf blower over there on the floor to blow off all the dust and blow the dust out of here. I don't wipe it or anything like that. I'm just leaving everything on it for right now. I'm not cleaning it. I'm not putting water on it or anything like that. I just don't touch it, basically. I stay far away from it. And that is kind of how I keep, all that dirt and dust from scratching. But of course, when it comes down to the point where I'm going to actually clean this baby, we're going to use a good cleaner, maybe some water. I'm not sure yet. But, I've got some Miracle Wash. I got a few things that I can use that'll take the contaminants and keep it from scratching when I do clean it. So that's the plan. All right, so getting right into it. When I sent this off to body and paint, the hood was not on it. The fenders were on it. The doors were on it. The trunk was not on it, and the eyebrows was not on it. And I had the fenders and the doors perfect. Had them matched up perfectly, and as you can see here, it is no longer the case. Right there, you can see that's not quite as good as you would like it to be. You can also see that the door is actually higher than the rear quarter here, and you can kind of see that this isn't lined up either. This part of the door needs to come up a little bit, or the fender needs to go down to match up to it, whatever. But on top of all of that, that gap right there is really just too wide. And that's partly my fault, because when I took it to him, he was working on everything, and then I was trying to get it to him so he could get started painting on it, doing body work, that kind of stuff. And when he got it, he took the doors off, and I asked him if I could have the doors back so that I could put the coating and all that kind of stuff on the inside. And I know I took a video of that to help sound insulate it, rust encapsulate it, also help with, insulation wise a little bit, because, I'm going to put a stereo in here, and I want this thing to be, I want this thing to be nice, where it's not so noisy and such metal and tinny. Like this whole thing right here, you hit this, you can hear that it's very, a lot of metal, but this one, and that's because of all that insulation and everything that I've got up in the ceiling there. on the roof. So that's what I'm trying to do with all that undercoating and everything on that car. I'm going to be doing that over here too when I swap that over to the other frame at some point. But anyway, for now though, back to this. Let's try not to get on a tangent here. I grabbed the doors from him, did all that work, and I did not put the door latches back inside the doors. So when I took it to him, yeah, he had the door post, but he did not have the door latches, so he couldn't actually put the doors on and shut them and adjust the doors properly. So that is actually kind of sort of my fault, that is happening. The fact that those doors are not lined up, and you can really see it here on the driver's side. You can really see how the door is stuck inside way too much. It needs to roll out a little bit. The gap over here is a little bit better though, but it's still, and then you can actually see it's sitting down a little bit. It needs to be raised up, and these are just little fine minor adjustments that are going to have to happen. And then I'll have to readjust the fenders to the doors and the hood, so that's coming. But this is the part that I was really disappointed with right here. Again, I took it to him with the doors and the fenders on, and they were perfectly lined up, operating flawlessly. Everything was absolutely perfect. All he had to do was put them back on. Again, my fault, I didn't get the door latches put back in. I don't think he took those pins out, so they really technically didn't move. But anyway, it is what it is. It happened. But back here, I did not have the trunk on. I did not have that rear valance on, and I did not have the eyebrows on. And apparently, it is so obvious that he too did not put the eyebrows on, and he did not put the trunk on until after he painted it. Because, first of all, the gap right over here is way wider than this gap over here. You can obviously see the trunk needs to come out because it's sunk in. This eyebrow did really well about lining up, but you can kind of see that there's a gap right there, and you can actually see a little spot here where the paint, I mean, I don't know, it's like the buffing compound or whatever. Maybe I can clean that up. But I got the weather stripping in there, by the way, and it's not sealing that gap up. Now, there is another stud right about here, so when I tighten it up, maybe it might pull it in. But this one over here is the worst one. Again, you can see a huge gap there, which it's not really this gap that bothers me. It's that one. Look at that. Look at that. And you would think that before you go, you know, painting this shit, you would act, and you have it all. I've given it all to you. You would, I mean, it doesn't sit nice right here. It's sticking out, and it's definitely bent back or whatever. I mean, the vehicle was in a wreck before. We did replace, let's see, yeah, the lower quarter portion, and I think the wreck was actually on that side over there, if I remember correctly. So, and I did put a new taillight panel in. So, you know, there's some of that, but my point is that this should have been, in my opinion, he should have put these on, he should have checked them, and he should have heated them and bent them or whatever to fit before he painted them. Because now, what I got to deal with is I got to deal with the fact that I got paint on them, and I'm supposed to somehow bend that and make it work. I'm going to talk to an older guy who will help me do all this body work and whatnot, and see if he's, you know, going to tell me that it's okay to use like a heat gun down there, not a torch. Obviously, we don't want to flame the paint. A heat gun to actually kind of heat that up, maybe put, because I got to make a new hole here for the bolt, put that through there and start tightening it up and see what happens. I just don't want to break it, is what I don't want to do. I don't know how malleable this thing's going to be, if it's even going to move at all. But I mean, it just would have been, like I said, really nice to do all that shit before you actually painted it. And if I mess it all up, as long as I don't mess this part up, I guess I can take this back and have him repaint this eyebrow. I don't know. Or if it breaks, then I'll have to buy another eyebrow. I'm just, that really irks me. That right there really kind of pisses me off. I think it's stupid, especially when I brought you everything. So learn from my mistake. Make sure you're telling your body and paint guy that you want everything lined up before you apply body and paint. And you should make it part of the contract, part of the agreement, that he or she is going to call you up and say, hey, come down and check everything. And it might cost you more, because they're going to have to do the labor of hanging it and, you know, lining it up and all that kind of stuff. But to me, it's worth it. To me, it's worth it. That right there probably, like I said, never would have happened if I had those inside door latches to him. But I didn't, so that's why I got to redo the doors now. My springs, unfortunately, are worn out. I got those springs as tight as I can get them, and the trunk is just too heavy for those springs now. Oh, there we go. It's kind of holding now, but it's kind of dangerous. I mean, like it just isn't gonna hold very well. I don't know. I might have to like hammer this up, bend it up a little bit or something, to where it maybe goes up a little higher, you know, just to make sure that it holds up there. But it's just right on the edge of wanting to fall. Or, you know what I might do is I might actually take and put magnets and glue them on here, you know, so that way when I bring it up, it can snap in and actually help hold that up. But it shuts pretty decent. But you can see this right here is pretty decent, but over here it's sunk down too low, so I gotta get that adjusted up. A lot of things, and again, these are the things I hate the most: body and paint, especially when paint is applied. I hate lining things up, scratching things, etc. I'm gonna be really pissed if I fucking do something here and I scratch something or burn it up because I'm trying to heat it up or whatever, all because of the fact that, you know, especially with that thing there and this trunk, I think he could have lined that up a lot better. I don't know. For the amount of money that I paid him, I truly believe that all should have been lined up and it all should have been good. He could have waited for me to bring those, you know, or told me and said, hey, you need those door latches back, but he didn't. I just showed up to pick up the car and he said, well, I don't have those. Or it was, I called him up and I said, hey, when are you about done? You know, something like that, to that effect. And then he said, yeah, just come on over and get it. You know, he's basically telling me that he was getting close to being done and he was finished up with it. You know, eventually he told me he was finished up with it and I can come get it and all that. And then we started arranging a time to pick it up, etc., etc., etc. And then it was just like out of the blue, hey, by the way, bring those door latches with you. And it didn't dawn on me when he said that, these doors would just be kind of, you know, flopping and swinging because there was nothing to hold them shut. And his idea was that he was going to wrap a strap around my doors to hold them shut. And I just, no. You just got done painting it. I guess he was going to put a blanket on it or something. I don't know. But anyway, it's a done deal. It's over with. And that's what it is. But I'm, again, giving you guys an update. Just kind of, you know, telling you what I'm finding. There are a few little contaminants in the paint here and there. Very, very rare. And that actually doesn't bother me, really. Because I'm just... It just doesn't bother me. I'm not looking for a show car. I'm looking for a car that the paint will last and it will not start peeling, bubbling, or anything like that. And I want it to be durable to where it can, you know, somebody being stupid, you know, coming over and bumping against it or something. I want it to be to where it can tolerate that. That's how durable I want it. Outside of that, you know, a little bit of contaminant here and there. Yeah, it happens, and that's okay, because this is going to be a daily driver. I'm going to be driving it all the time, and, you know, it's going to start getting rock chips in it and all that kind of shit, and it's just going to be the way it is. But I want it to last, at least for my lifetime. I want it to last for my lifetime. So that's really the goal that I want, is my lifetime. It's going to last a while. But I really feel, again, that this should have, especially this one, should have been fixed before he painted it. Again, I got a stud here and over on the other side that when I tighten it down, it might start pulling it in. But I got to be careful with that, because I don't want to actually break and pull that stud out of this eyebrow itself. So I got to be careful about how tight that I make that, you know. I'm not going to put a ton of pressure on it. I'm just going to tighten it down to where it's snug, and then I'm going to call it good. This right here, though, we got to figure out a way to make that better. That's for sure. I mean, technically, I guess, if you really think about it, the bumper is going to come out here and it's going to wrap around, and it's actually going to cover this up. You really won't even see this. I will admit that, but it just, you paid for it. Why isn't it fixed? You know, that's just the way I see it. Why isn't it fixed? This one right here looks pretty good. And this one, as you can see, is lower. There's really not much of anything I'm going to be able to do with that. Maybe kind of raise it up just a little bit, but I don't want it sticking up too tall over here. I know these things don't fit perfect, but they certainly could have if the guy would have, in my opinion, done his job. And just looking and seeing these little marks and stuff everywhere. I got a lot of, I don't know what the heck this stuff is, but like some white stuff. I mean, that almost looked like a scratch, but I don't know. Who knows? I got people walking by my car all the time here. Who knows? Maybe somebody bumped up against it. But for the most part, though, it's looking pretty good. I think a buffing wheel to this thing one more time after I get it all lined up and done can clean it up really good. Might even take some of them small contaminant pieces out actually as well. Yeah, you can really see the passenger door now, how it's not lined up right there. So anyway, this baby right here, because the windows, they seal up into the weather strip here, and they don't have like a door frame rail. It's going to be interesting. I do remember this thing always leaking air right there, and it's just the nature of the beast. But I'm going to see what I can do to make that, you know, fit and seal really well. But of course, got to get everything else to fit first. So, all right, well, there's my update to the 1971 Mustang. And so now I'm gonna get started. I don't know, I'm gonna call that guy. We're gonna see what we can do about that eyebrow first. Then we're gonna adjust this. We're gonna put weather stripping inside there, and once we get that good, next thing we're gonna do is go start working on the doors. Then after we get the doors set to the quarters and to the quarter panel back here, then we'll start working on the fenders, get that fit to the front of the doors and to the hood. And then you can also see the hood. That was another thing. Check this out. You can see the hood is like lower, and then this is higher, and then over here you can see the hood is higher than the fender. So I mean, I know I've seen it done before actually, where they push on the hood and they bend the curve a little bit, and that I get. That is something that can be done. Again, it's just like, why am I doing this, right? Like, I paid you to do the body and paint. You know what I mean? It's like, I paid you to do the body and paint, and then to assemble it for me so that I can bring it home. And again, the only thing I will take a hit for is not having the door latches. But even if he had those door latches, he obviously did not take the time. Maybe because he never told me. Maybe he thought, well, he's going to have to do his, door latches, so he's going to have to redo his doors, and he's going to have to redo the fenders, and therefore I don't need to adjust the hood. Maybe that's where he's at. I don't know. I'm just, for the amount of money I spent, I'm just a little disappointed with those items there. But there we go. All right, so I'm done now, and like, subscribe, and rumble if you're over on Rumble, which is probably, with all this election interference happening right now. Oh, is that going to get me banned? Fuck you then. Also, all the censorship that's happening on. Oh, is that going to get me banned? Fuck you then. I mean, I'm just so sick and tired of all this restrictions that are going on right now, especially with YouTube. And the only reason why I use YouTube, because everybody seems to use it, and nobody can seem to get off their fucking ass and go find something else. I mean, I have, and I'm working on it over on Rumble and other places. Problem is, I don't see anything gaining traction or anybody, jumping over there. So I guess we're all just going to sit here and, suffer because we just can't, get off our lazy asses and move someplace else. I mean, again, I have, but will you? Who knows? I guess not, but whatever. Yeah, YouTube is kind of neat and kind of awesome nonetheless, right? But we keep supporting this shit, and you're going to get the same shit. Insanity is, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And we're not getting different results. We're getting the same censorship and all kinds of dumb shit all the time, and yet we take it. And, well, just like me and my cars and my American attitude, fuck you guys, right? Right. All right, so there you go. If you're a kid, yeah, don't be saying that shit in front of your mom. Yet at the same time, yeah, it's about time you become fucking Americans, okay? If you live here in America, because I'm telling you right now, all y'all youngins are getting pretty fucking soft, and this kind of freedom right here is not going to be available if you let the commies in. And the only way you're going to be able to keep that from happening is grow some fucking balls and start acting like a goddamn American. The fucking government's not going to come and save you. Government's not saving me right here. They sure as hell ain't helping me with this shit. They would never help me with this shit, and they're not going to help you with that shit. So if you want to do shit like this, because this is why you're watching it, you're just checking it out, you think it's cool, well, guess what? Time to be an American then, all right? So enough of my little political rant, which I could give a fuck less if you like it or not. If you don't, go fuck yourself. If you like it, I really don't even care about that either. All I can say is that the only way this kind of stuff is going to happen is if we all, stand up and go out and do our thing, instead of waiting for the government to do it for us and big tech to censor us for it and all that kind of bullshit. So there we go. All right, awesome. See you later, guys.